Charles, you want to start on?
Yes, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you,
Good game.
Charles. Thank you so much.
I know Army's identity offensively is running the ball, but you've been effective passing ball over the last several weeks. And I'll be concerned of defensive coordinators that you play against. Can you talk about the play calling, not only today from Coach Worley, but throughout the season?
I think Cody's doing a great job with the offense. Not just calling the plays, but preparing those guys during the week and building a game plan. Often this offense draws some different looks from defenses than we've seen on film. And they came out in a four-man front, one linebacker, and then later as the game went along, we saw double eagle, which center both guards covered with two linebackers in the box, and then they were in an 8-man front with 4 down and 2 linebackers and a single high safety, just a lot of different things. And it's it's challenging when they're changing fronts just to get everybody on the same page. And he does a really good job of building a plan where our quarterback can get us in the right play. We're not so complicated that our guys can't adjust to what they're seeing. And so he's doing a nice job. Bryson's throwing the ball well. He's been smart and not taking crazy risks trying to throw the ball into double coverage or things like that. But he put the ball on the money a couple of times. Did a really nice job of that today, and it was good to see. We're never going to be a passing juggernaut, but it should support our ability to be able to throw the ball. Should support our efforts to run the football, and that's really what it's designed in our system to do. We're not throwing it just because it'd be fun. We're throwing it for a purpose, and so we were able to hit a couple today.
And on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of pressure. I felt the quarterback was under a lot of duress. Was that a combination of the coverage and the pass rush, or the pass rush and just the coverage?
I think it's always a combination of both. When our defense has time to get to the quarterback and he's holding the ball, it's because the guys he's trying to get it to are covered. And the guys did a good job of beating some blocks late. There weren't a whole lot of times where we just lined up and whizzed by a guy and he didn't have any time at all. Times where our guys are just putting forth the effort and kept trying. And it's a credit to the guys in the secondary and the linebackers that were in the areas that they needed to discourage the throw. And so a couple of times we lost contain. That's probably the area on our pass rush that I always get most concerned about is allowing the guy to get outside of the pocket. And he was able to scramble for some yards and get some throws away, get the ball away without getting sacked. So there's things we will need to do better, but I thought our guys played really hard today.
My follow-up and final question, probably a unique situation for any college coach. You're at the 6-16 mark in the third quarter, and you were able to bring in your second string quarterback, if you will. Talk a little bit about that and how that felt.
It's valuable for us to be able to play other guys, particularly at that position. It's easy to slip a receiver or a defensive lineman or another position player in there, but the quarterback is different. And so to be able to get Dwayne in there and get him some quality reps with some other guys, I thought it was great. And he does a good job. Dwayne's a good quarterback, and he's a good leader. Our guys really like him, and we do too. He's a competitor. He's really smart. So I'm glad we're able to get him in there for some significant time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Ken?
Coach, when you look at a game like this, you had big offensive performance, but it was another good performance by your defense. You had a couple of interceptions, 5 tackles for loss. You had a goal line stand that held, stopped a couple of 4th down plays. How do you feel like the defense is playing, and is it improving?
They are. They played just really gritty defense today. Obviously, the opening drive to get a stop on 4th down gave us a short field, and we scored on the next play. That was a great way to start the game, obviously. And then the goal line stand, as you mentioned, that was very typical of our defense at times this year, it's the bend, don't break. We gave some plays up. They drove the ball down the field. They got the ball into the low red zone on the goal line. And we were able to come away with a stop and keep points off the board altogether. That was huge. The sacks, the tackles for loss. Those are big plays for the defense. Anytime we can get the offense off schedule, that's a big play for the defense. The interceptions were certainly, it's great to get turnovers and drives that way. We did a nice job of keeping the ball in front of us for the most part. There are a couple of times in their opening drive, they had that RPO, tight ends run right down the middle of the field, and he dropped it. That could have been a big play against us. Late in the game, they had a post route. We didn't have a middle safety back there. He was just poorly positioned, and they dropped that one. So they had some shots, but for the most part, we were able to kind of keep them in front of us, and that's really, I guess, kind of been our MO this year.
Coach, on offense, 3 touchdowns by Bryson Daly in the first quarter. A couple of all 3 running plays. The offense is moving along today at 413 yards, rushing offense. You say you want to rush the ball, you're rushing. Is there another level you can take the running game in the season?
I hope so. There are still times where I feel like we could sustain blocks better. The ones that are very apparent are the ones on the perimeter, and we're either using a guy to go out there and block a secondary player, or crack an outside linebacker, or a nickel player inside of us, bringing the tackle out on the perimeter to block one of those secondary players or an outside linebacker. And we let some of those slide off of us late. I'd like to, do a better job of sustaining those. There was some times inside where it's hard to be perfect, but just getting a little bit more out of our inside run game at times. The times we popped out of there had some great runs. And at times, they got guys on scholarship too. They slid off the blocks, and it's fundamentals and pad level and things that perhaps we can do better at. So we'll see.
Just maybe a thought about a game like this. As you said, you got a chance to put in some players who on the second and third team, some new names on defense, so we don't see very often. How valuable is it? How do you feel about the depth that you've been able to cultivate, attract to your program?
There are some positions where I feel like we are very deep in terms of being able to put guys in and really not feel the strain of a drop off. We play a lot of defensive linemen. I think the veteran inside linebackers we have are a good group. Our offensive line, certainly, those guys. We got plenty of guys that have played football. Not all of them are starters, and so it's nice to be able to have guys like that to back up. So there's some positions where we feel pretty good, and others where we're trying to build depth. We got to get guys experience and get them in the game. And I think the fourth quarter is probably excuse me, an example of that. It just got a little sloppy, and we had a drive stopping penalty on the field goal drive. It was a holding call, and we had a 1st and goal. And you look up there, and it's 1st and goal at the 18. So, when those guys go in the game, the expectation is still the same. So we've got to improve what those guys do in those their play, their performance. We had to punt there in the fourth quarter. I guess it must have been the fourth quarter, and we had a chop block. So those are things probably fundamentally that we can do better. We roughed the punter. That's 2 weeks in a row. We got a guy that's coming off the edge, and it just probably took a poor angle and ran. I saw it on the replay. Just fundamentally not as good as we need to be. So those are all areas of improvement for us. That after we roughed the punter, they went down there and scored, and I just hate that. I thought regardless, I thought we'd do a good job of getting them off the field, but give them credit. They went down the field and scored on us, and a lot of those are young guys, but again, it's the expectation is for them to go out there and get them stopped. And we did that a week ago. It was early in the game, but we went out there and got them stopped. So anyway, we'll try to improve on those things. We're going to need to. Team we're playing next week's the best team we played all year. They're really athletic, well coached. They'll have had 2 weeks to get ready for us. And this will be the biggest challenge we've had all year.
Thank you.
Seth or Sal?
Coach, I was just gonna ask a quick one. You're 6-0, goal eligible after 6 games. Seems like you still feel there's more out there for the team. Obviously, you guys played well, but have you played your best yet? Do you think there's more out there?
I hope there's more out there. We're making enough errors, and there are enough things that I see that need improvement, that if we don't fix those, that we're not going to be able to continue to win. So I'm proud of our guys and happy for them that they get to play in the postseason. I was a GA for Larry Marmee, who was the coach at Arizona State in 1991, and I remember him saying to the team, as we were striving to get to enough wins to go to a bowl game, he said one of the great experiences in college football is playing in a bowl game, and it's certainly something to strive for, and so I mean it's a measure of success, but we're only halfway through the season, and there's a lot of season left to play, and the second half of the season is going to be even more challenging than the first half, starting with East Carolina. So we need to make improvements. I hope there's more out there for us to achieve. I mean, there's things out there for us to achieve. Whether we will or not is going to be dependent on the job that we do as coaches to prepare our team and how well they perform. And that's the bottom line. So I'm happy that our guys are going to get that experience, get to have that experience, but it's 2 months away. That's a long way away. So really, that's just that's behind us at this point. And I think we got a mature enough team that they'll focus and get prepared for this week. That accomplishment of saying we're bowl eligible, I assure you, does not affect our team. They are mature enough and they are well led enough within the locker room by their teammates that they're not going to let that affect how we prepare for this next one.
Sal?
Coach, I saw that the quarterback completed 25 passes, which I was surprised to see. Yet the Army defense at the right moment seems to rise up every game, not just today, almost every game, so far every game. Why do you think that is? Why do they seem to be at that crucial time making those great plays?
Our guys play really hard. I think Coach Woody does a terrific job of preparing those guys and getting them in position. He's a really good defensive coordinator. But also, as a team gets closer to the goal line, the field is obviously shrunk. There's less field to defend. That doesn't make it less challenging. There are challenges down there. But I don't know. I mean, just our guys have played pretty well down there in the red zone, and as teams have gotten closer, they've come up with some plays. I think they feel a sense of urgency when the ball gets down there to try to stop the other team, and they're fighting like crazy to do it. So, I mean, I don't know.
Even the fourth down plays, when they go in for a fourth down, they stop them.
Yeah. Again, I think it's just the effort that's there, and guys trying to play physical, play hard, play tough, and we got a couple stops when we needed to.
Do you have anything, John?
No, everyone's asked. Thank you.
I'm gonna go to Zoom. Ken McMillan, go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, congratulations on the win.
Thank you, Ken.
Jeff, can you talk about the chunk yardage this year? You in the first half alone, you guys had 17 plays of 5 or more yards and only 8 under that. These are amazing numbers.
Well, I'm not a big stats guy, Ken, so you'd know better as how those compare with other teams. I really don't know. Frankly, we're trying to gain 3 yards and keep the sticks moving. So if we can get it to 4th and 1 after 3-yard plays, I'm as happy as can be. And we've hit some big plays in the run game and the pass game. That's great. Some of them got us first downs and some of them got us touchdowns, but we're built to try to sustain drives and turn the sticks and run the clock. And but I think it's just it's just the fact that our guys are doing a pretty good job of blocking up those run plays, and it's creating some seams, and we're able to hit some plays that are more than 3 yards.
Jeff, I know that Kitten kind of runs around a lot out there, but you guys had a lot to do with that today. Can you just talk about the defensive pressure you applied? And do you think that Coach Woody is dialing up a little more pressure of late because the kids are gaining more experience and confidence?
Oh, most of the pressure we got were 4-man pressures. It wasn't blitzes and those kinds of things where we're bringing secondary players and extra linebackers. Most of it was just our guys beating blocks, and that's a credit to those players and how hard they're playing and the fundamentals that go into that, and the coaches preparing those guys. A couple times we lost contain, we got outside, and that gives me the most angst when a quarterback gets flushed and he's outside the pocket and we haven't kept leverage on him. And there were a couple other times today that I think we would have had a chance to get him down for a sack or make him throw the ball away at least, and not have a shot to hit a receiver down the field or hit somebody late. And so that's an area where we got to improve. But they're playing hard, they're trying hard. We try to give those guys enough opportunities to do that in practice that they're prepared for it. And like I said today, it's just guys beating blocks and winning some one-on-one battles.
Jeff, I know you've been saying every week to us that there's still a lot to improve. I'm just curious, how close are you to where you want to be? And second part is, what's your greatest concern heading into the second half?
We're miles away from where I want us to be. Miles away. So that's being frank. We did some good things today. We've done some good things throughout the season, but these games are going to get tougher. And not that it's not tough to win. It is hard to win a college football game. But the team we're going to face this week is a really good football team. So if we're going to have a chance to beat them, we're going to have to do all the things that we do even better. And the areas where we're falling short, we've got to get those corrected and get those fixed. We can't miss tackles. We can't let people slide off of blocks. We can't miss opportunities in the passing game and the kicking game. We can't rough the punter. We can't have drive stopping penalties. There's just a lot to improve. And so I don't mean to sound like, glass is half empty. I'm not saying that. I just being realistic about who we are. So.
And lastly, did you get a chance to talk to Coach Duffy afterwards? Did you share some words?
Always. And I wished him luck and success as he goes through the season. And I don't know what else you say after the game. We talked a little bit before the game, so.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Ken.
Last question. Go ahead, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, well, Dylan, I know you don't get to be around the team very much to practice or those team meetings and those kinds of things, but I think all the things we're talking about in here, the expectations that we have and the areas where we're falling short, there's enough for us to correct our guys on and to show them on film where they can play better and try to help them realize that when they play a team that is really, really good and really, really talented, which we will starting this week, that if they don't play better and play the fundamentals and eliminate missed assignments, that it's going to get us beat. So just try to keep them grounded. And our guys are, I think, aware enough to realize who we are and that we have to play as close to perfect as possible in terms of assignment fundamentals, or we're going to get beat, because there's teams that are really, really talented and are really well coached. And when you play teams like that, players like that, you got to play your very best.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.